is my second video. I want to talk to you today about the grief cycle. So one thing we are all likely to experience at some point in our life is grief. And it's usually something that's attributed to maybe the death of a loved one. But it also goes to say that you go through a grieving process when there's a life-changing event. So maybe there's a loss of a job or the end of a relationship, or like in this situation, you're diagnosed with a chronic condition or even a terminal illness. As with fibromyalgia, grief is also very personal. We're not all going to go through it the same way. It's going to be a very individual experience, and there's no set time frame for grief. So you don't have the death of a loved one and then get told, okay, now you can grieve for 2 weeks and then that's all. Everybody grieves differently. Everybody grieves in for different length of times. And for me, I was quite shocked to go through a grieving process when I finally got diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And at first, I didn't really understand that that's what was happening. I was very, very much in denial about what was happening. It's normally quite a revelation? Normally quite a revelation when you get a diagnosis and you finally find out what's wrong with you. But for me, it solidified that I was going to be different for the rest of my life. Now, the grief cycle, I'll refer to it as that for now. It's also known by many other different names, but it's a theory that was first put together back in the late 1960s by a psychiatrist, a Swiss-American psychiatrist called Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. She basically wrote in her book, On Death and Dying, that's the title, in 1969, that there are 5 stages of grief. Some psychiatrists, psychologists may refer to it as the acronym DABDA, but there's generally 5 stages. So the first one would be denial, very much where I was straight away as soon as I was diagnosed. Then you've got anger, that comes second, bargaining, and then we've got deep sadness or depression, and then finally acceptance. As with everything, not everyone will experience the grief cycle in that order. Those peaks and troughs may come at different times, but they are generally something that you could put a category against. The grief cycle itself, that it's been adapted over the years. There's one which is the 7-stage cycle. I'm not really going to go into that one because I don't want to overcomplicate things. And you might find yourself stuck in one particular stage for months on end. And I really, really struggled. So I was in denial for a very, very long time. I still wanted to do the job I was doing without any changes. I still wanted to be able to do stuff around the household, like chores and making meals for the family. I still wanted to see my family and friends. I say friends, I don't have any. Don't know why I added that in. I might just say I still wanted to see my family. But it soon became apparent that lots had to change, and I was trying my hardest to deny myself of that. The anger stage came straight after, literally, typically as the 5 stages of grief are explained. And the anger was a difficult one. I was very angry about why I had fibromyalgia. Why did it have to happen to me? Why did these things have to come at this particular time when everything's going great? I didn't want to adjust. I didn't want to make those changes. So denial and anger went kind of side by side after a short while for a very, very long time. I'd often find myself I'd be snappy, more moody than normal, because generally I'm a moody person anyway. And I'd find myself really irritable. The slightest thing might set me off. My anxiety and depression just peaked. And then I was really sad. I would be crying a lot. I would be so unbelievably down, I would lie there barely able to verbalize because I would be sobbing so much, and I just wanted it all to stop. I was ready for it to end. And it was as simple as that in my mind. It wasn't rational, and I know that, but I didn't want to be in pain anymore. I just wanted to sleep. I didn't want to be a burden on my partner. I didn't want to spoil days out. I wanted to be able to do meals and provide for the family. I was, once quite house proud, and just things were just becoming too difficult. Putting makeup on my face, albeit I've got it on today. Washing my hair and drying my hair, taking pride in my appearance, it all just slowly went away. And sometimes I couldn't even have a shower because the pain was so much, or I would just be bedridden. So I was in denial, and I was very angry for a very, very long time. I'm not quite at the end of that grief cycle. I'm almost a year into my actual diagnosis. But I think I've got a way to go before I get to acceptance. But I'm certainly treading in the bargaining stage at the moment, making adjustments, and for the first time in probably ever, putting myself first, not in any kind of selfish way, but knowing that my quality of life will be better if I maybe rest longer, or listen to the pain, or it's okay for my partner to make meals, just things like that. So the grief cycle is something that we're all going to go through. Ultimately, it's going to be a difficult journey, and again, like in my previous video, that I want to explain that for me these videos are an outlet. I want to be able to get my feelings out, but I also want to reach out to anybody else who is feeling alone or scared, and they just want someone to talk to who gets it. So I would really encourage you to contact me. If you like the videos, please do like and subscribe to the channel, and then click the notification bell as well. And hopefully, I'm not going to always do one which is quite so morbid, but I wanted to get this one in quite early so I could explain in future videos more about why I'm so down that day, or maybe why I'm looking at you without makeup on my face. There may be tears in the videos, because it is okay to not be okay, and it's okay to show that. So you don't need to hide behind a smile, you don't need to be scared, and you don't need to be alone. So that's basically the grief cycle in a nutshell, and I will see you next time. Gentle hugs and peace out. I've forgotten how to say hello.
Would you like to do some voice exercises?
La 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 la. Hippopotamus is Mississippi River. Hippopotamus is Mississippi River. Hippopotamus is Mississippi River. Hippopotamus is Mississippi River. How now, brown